Hey YouTube, Shadow Zapdos, Umbreon, Cresselia. I started with Shadow Zapdos because I've played with it multiple times in the past and I always enjoy playing with it. It's really, really fun. It's very, very glassy and has a lot of limitations. So what I did with this team is I covered the glassiness part with Umbreon and Cresselia. So basically I would try to use those two as like shields, like a third shields for Zapdos and try and run with that. The problem is it didn't always work because you're gonna see a couple matchups where like I get against the Dragonite and the fast move damage is like way too much. There's other matchups where like steel grounds, like I ran into a Steelix and that was like tough, and then like the back line can't really like it's really missing a fighter in the back. Like if you're going to be really really tough against like um grounds and steels, you kind of need a fighter. So I did like on and like win loss win loss win loss with this team. So let's look at them in the battles. um Again, decent lead here. They get out into Dragonite, so I stay in just to try and get a first move off, but like I'm already at 60% health remaining, right? They chipped so much. So I grabbed one shield because again, that would hit like crazy. Come in here, absorb damage, get a Moonblast off, keep switch. I am going to show Moonblast to take this out, which means that the Talonflame is going to have a ton of farm, knowing that I can only throw like resisted Moonblast. Yeah, so they're just going to farm up, and then like I'm going to have to try and come in Zapdos, but then you need to shield, and they're going to probably flame charge boost here. So it's really like put you in a tricky spot already, because like by the time I come in with Zapdos, this thing's going to be boosted. The Incinerates are going to kill Zapdos. I bank it because like I don't want to get one extra Incinerate there. That's huge damage. So I need to shield this. Hopefully I can get to a Jolt Peck before they take. I mean, for sure I'll get to a Jolt Peck, but I don't think I'll get to a second. So now Umbreon has to take it. So that gets farmed down. Can't come in Cresselia, it's too low, so I have to come Umbreon. I know they're going to have like basically two moves, so I have to take another fly here, which hurts. And luckily they're not another move. I take this out, and luckily it's a Guillotine in the back, if I remember. So kind of got lucky with like back alignment there. Otherwise that was like, if this wasn't Guillotine, it was like pretty much a loss, right? So a win, but not an amazing win at that. So we will let this match play out with Cresselia and Umbreon. You know you're in for long matches, right? It's both so tanky. I don't like. So let me just see what the next lead is, and then I'm gonna actually talk about team building and like this double tank. And I really do not like this strategy, but I like other strategies better, and I'm gonna go through that in a minute here. I think we'll just focus the majority of this time on team building here for the Ultra League, not just Ultra League, just in general. Zapdos is going to get in on Sandslash. So this problem is like, first of all, Crest has really no matchup here, but you get outpaced significantly to the Ice Punches here. They're already at an Ice Punch, right? And which was like one shot for sure. So now you got a shield. Now you're behind a shield. You need to try and maneuver like bait here, or just go for the nuke, maneuver to Umbreon. But that will draw probably a hard counter. I'm going to try and catch an Ice Punch here. Tried to catch it, didn't work. Here comes your Poliwrath, and then it's just whatever. When you're using a Pokemon like Zapdos, you know, a lot of other content creators use these spice Pokemon picks, but they're shielded behind two strong meta Pokemon. And Crest and Umbreon have kind of the meta strength to a certain extent, but not really. So when you're using Pokemon like Zapdos, I really think that you need to do one of two things. For sure you need a bulk to go with it, because you need others to absorb shields for you. So having either Umbreon or Crest is not the worst idea, or some other like really, really bulky Pokemon to just absorb here. Like I said, the problem with like Cresselia is if you get into like I ran into like a Steelix or Galarian Stunfisk, which will just like wall Zapdos, and then not amazing with Crest, right? So again, the pairing may not be amazing, and then you got to worry about so yeah, when you're using like a glassy, hard-hitting Pokemon like Zapdos, kind of spicy, it really needs to be carried by the other two Pokemon. The other two Pokemon, why I don't think this team worked, is you're not going to have two bulky Pokemon which don't have a ton of charge move pressure carrying your team to victory, right? So in Great League, when a lot of people use Spice in the past here, it was using like a Spice pick with like Lickitung and Medicham. Because Lickitung and Medicham, back in the like couple seasons ago, could theoretically carry you to victory, right? Just those two alone. So they put in a Spice pick plus those two. So what I think the problem is, you don't have a two, at least not these two, but I don't even know about Ultra League if there are two Pokemon like that, like there is in the Great League, that can carry you to victory, like we saw in the past with Medi and Lickitung. I'm just thinking of the rankings, like Registeel's up there, and Registeel can grab shields, so like I eventually want to build one up, but again, I'm just so many XL short. So Registeel could potentially be one of those options. But again, that would, like G-Fist could still be a problem, stuff like that. So I don't love the way this team this was built, right? Because you got two bulky Pokemon in the back that can't carry you. They're good for like the shield aspect of it, but they're not good for carrying. So one of two things here. If you want to do, again, Zapdos is more of like a fun kind of spicy pick. There are other glass cannons that are, I think, better in this meta. Let me just open up PV Poke. I'm going a lot off memory rankings here. Nope, that's not it. So like Registeel's number one. Again, Registeel could be like one of those that could theoretically carry you in Great League, but like an Ultra League, you can't run Zapdos and Giratina because you're double weak to ice. But Giratina is one of those, I think if you saw my first video and if you've played Ultra League and for the, how many seasons are around now, 15 plus seasons that this has been on, Giratina is always one that can carry you to victory, right? It is so bulky, it is so spammy. Unless you get hit with like a dark or normal typing, you're like in everything. Even against like fairies and stuff, you're still in those matchups pretty well. So Giratina is one that can carry you. So Giratina, Registeel, definitely two that can carry you. And both of those fit the bill of Pokemon that can carry you and Pokemon that are bulky enough to like absorb shields on, right? XL Registeel and very, very bulky Legendary Giratina are both bulky enough to build shields on. So I do like a Spice pick, Giratina, Registeel, and then like for me, I would actually go like not Spice pick, but like two glassier, harder hitting Pokemon with those Pokemon to absorb. So I had just tried one. It didn't super work, but the thought process is the same of like Shadow Swampert. I was using Shadow A Ninetales as a charmer, and then Giratina to absorb the thing, right? So you have like Swampert, which is just super, super spammy and hard hitting. Ninetales, which I probably should run Powder Snow if I'm going to run Swampert, because then you're pretty weak to poison if you don't. I was thinking Venusaur, not just poison, but Venusaur. And then so you have those two hard-hitting Pokemon that can like potentially grab shields and use shields, and then you have a safe swapping Giratina to try and flip switch or try and absorb shields. And that's I much prefer those types of teams as opposed to something like this. My most successful teams in the past are always like balanced teams on the ends with a bulky, strong safe swap in the middle. So again, I can't imagine all the pairings, but like I would use Lickitung, Sableye, Medi, Gligar as just like super good safe swaps that can flip potential in Great League, built around two core Pokemon. Like Swampert and Ninetales is the easiest example, but like just pick like two Pokemon that complement each other, and that is like my ideal team build. And it's when I start getting like, oh, I should use this Pokemon, and I should like I was using like, you haven't seen it. I don't think it's in any of the battles because I don't think any of them worked well enough. I was using Armored Mewtwo again. It was just like, well, yeah, Armored Mewtwo's tanky enough, but it's like, its play in this league is not great. It's ranked 62, And yes, you're going to take care of all these like fighters that are now out here, but there's a lot of dark, there's a lot of ghost, right? There's Umbreon, Mandibuzz, Trevenant, Skeldurge, Steelix, Cresselia, Girautinas are everywhere. Jellicent, Dragonite, like you lose to all these Pokemon, which doesn't like help you in your use of it. So I think moving forward, if I'm actually trying to grind, which I am at this point, I remember this 1 HP loss. That was kind of a tough loss. So moving forward, I think I just need to like stop overthinking, because I'm so like, I gotta try a new Pokemon. What is like this main thing? Is it weak? Is it just not bulky enough? Is it doesn't have enough charge move? Let's just pair it with this Pokemon. But really, if I just go back to my sort of bread and butter of team building, then I'd be much better. And I get hit with a Regis safe swap on Crest, which is just the worst. And then again, Umbreon, Crest, great safe swaps at one time, not super great safe swaps now, not with the metas currently the way they are. So again, it's like trying to think through like who's actually a good safe swap that can, like Registeel's a good safe swap. Yes, if you get hit with a counter, if that counter's Poliwrath, you have super effective Zap Cannon. Even if it's just like Annihilate or whatever, you can still like really, really chunk with Zap Cannon, right? And that's what makes Registeel so strong. So I don't know. That's my thoughts. I was also going to do, since this is just going to be like a sort of rambly video, not talking about the battles. They're long because a lot of XL Pokemon here, or bulky Pokemon, I should say. The state of the game, I posted on Twitter the other day. I'm barely playing the game anymore, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything. So like I do my battles every day because I actually do enjoy the battling aspect of it. But even now, like I'm shooting this later in the day, and I still have like 2.5 sets to do. And normally I'm done like 5 sets at like 7:30 a.m. So like even that's changing for me. But I mentioned on Twitter that like I have not raided or went to go like try and catch Pokemon, or like try and do anything other in this aspect of the game in months. And I think it's a couple of reasons. Let me just start off by saying work is the craziest it's ever been. All my files are exploding and I have no help right now. So from that perspective, like even when I like work downtown, I used to always say, if you watch my videos in the summer, it's like, oh, in summers I went for an hour walk. It's like now I don't even have 10 minutes to eat lunch at my desk right now, because that's how crazy work is. So like I don't even have the time to go out, plus like just the kids and stuff. So I don't, outside of the time aspect of it, which I don't have, it's a problem with the game aspect that I have right now. And there's 3 parts of the game that are really, really bothering me right now. The first is raiding. There is either no new Pokemon that I actually care about, or no Pokemon that I can do just alone, right? And no one remote raids anymore since they nerfed it. So raiding for me is like, the majority of the time I don't care about the Pokemon that are out there, or I don't have people to do it with. And it's so much so like this new Pokemon, this new dragon, I don't have the new dragon yet because I haven't done a raid for it. And I'm not going to. I don't care. And that's the thing. Like before, this game always used to be like a fear of missing out. Like, oh, if I don't get this, it's that. But now it's like I'm at the point where like I don't care if I do miss Pokemon or community. The second part, the thing I'm having trouble with is just the events are lackluster, right? You have very, very few new Pokemon, very, very few new Pokemon that are relevant to PvP or even raiding and stuff like that. So they're just like collectors. And again, if you're a shiny hunter, I'm not a shiny hunter, right? So that aspect hurts me too. So the events are just like nothing for me. It's like, oh, there's a dragon event on. Let's see. The only dragon I see in the field right now are Skrelp and Dratini, which I already have enough XLs for and Pokemon for. So I don't need those 2 Pokemon. But any of the new Pokemon are not in the field. A lot of the other Pokemon are not dragons, right? So these events like are bad. So the events are bad. I have no time. The raids are bad. I hate... I know. Thank you, Specimen. No, I always thank him. because he does truly buy me like 90% of the tickets that are out there. I hate how Niantic is ticketing everything, and it's a clear way to make up for all their lost revenue in raiding, because there's definitely less people raiding, so they're losing money there. But when you are charging, what is it, like $10 to $15 a month for their monthly pass, every week has an event, so every week comes with a $2 to $5 ticket, and then you have community days, at least one new community day plus like the retro one, so that's another couple dollars there. So like if someone were to buy every single ticket a month, which some people do, you're looking at like $20 to $30. So suddenly you're adding up all the raids that you're losing and offsetting your losses. But I just hate that everything's like, gotta get this ticket. And the events, like most of these tickets suck too, right? You don't get really a ton of value out of these tickets, in my opinion. And then there's other aspects of the game which have not been updated in a while. I gotta say, I am like, the one thing that they have done very, very, very well over the past, I'd say like 4 to 6 months, is give people access to dust. I'm at my high. I'm still spending. I just dropped like in the video earlier this week like 550,000 dust on a shadow Sandslash, because I had like 16.3 million dust, and I could just be like, yeah, that's fine, because I'm at the highest dust I've ever been at. They've been really good at giving you dust. However, with the lack of raiding, there's really no other way to get XL candies, right? You really only get XL candies from raiding right now. And XLs are the biggest hindrance for the majority of people who want to play Master League and want to do like build up Pokemon. So there's no point of me even getting a Pokemon if I'm like going to be 250 plus XL short on it, because I'm not raiding enough for it. And there's no other way to get XL candy in this game. So all those sort of things are frustrating me about the game right now. So combine all that, combined with work, combined just with like having kids and being busy, and combined with, I mean, this has been a very, very, very mild winter, but it's still winter. For those of you who have missed like one of the videos where I talked about the weather. So I live in Ottawa, Ontario, which is the coldest capital in the world. And normally in January, February, it's like you either get like -20 or like 10 feet of snow. Like those are your only two options for January, February. You're just getting a ton of snow, or you're getting freezing, like that you don't want to go outside. Either way, both not conducive to grinding, which I think is why they also kind of make events kind of suck in January through March, because they know like a lot of the population actually does have to deal with this. But this winter has been so weird. It was like almost a green Christmas. There was a little snow, but it was almost a green Christmas to like January 1st. And then we got like 3 major snowstorms that there's like a 15-foot pile of snow on my front lawn. That was the case until it then decided to warm up to like 0 degrees and rain multiple days. So that snow pile is now like half of what it was. And currently it's like -1 and like mix of sun and cloud. And again, normal for this time of season is like -15. So to be like hovering around 0 is nuts. So I do have that. I could theoretically go out more than I used to be able to, but it's still like snowy-ish. It's still icy. It's still cold. Like again, 0 is not exactly warm, but it's warm for time of the season. Anyways, this was one of the off top of my head videos. Hope you enjoyed it. For those of you who are watching, which is not many of you, because people hate the Ultra League and Hisui Cup, which is what we have this week. So that is also unfortunate for my channel. But I appreciate you who are here, and thanks for commenting. Again, I have not been commenting back because I've just been so busy with work that I haven't had time to like look and comment on the comments like I normally do. Hopefully work slows down soonish, and then that will be great. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.